my brother Doggie Diamonds has created a number of platforms for artists, music industry folks, street cats to express their opinions, express their, just express their thoughts on the culture in its many forms. He's created a number of platforms, but lately it's been all about no filter,
Let's bring Doggie Diamonds into the mix, man.
Let's bring Doggie Diamonds into the mix. Can we get a round of applause for my man, Doggie Diamonds?
Peace,
what up? What's up, everybody? What's going on?
Man? Great to have you in the building with us, man.
I'm here. It's kind of ironic because I don't drink or smoke, but I'm here on the podcast, 420. It's all good. It's funny because people been smoking around me my whole life. I've never taken one pull, and I don't even judge. If you want to get high, because it is what it is.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. We do it up. Yeah, do it up. I do a little 420 action. You know what I mean? I got more into it once I linked up with Hot. I started appreciating it a little more. You know what I mean? Appreciate it a little more like a culture,
Right. So, and talking about Madizm, though, yeah, it's about cannabis, but it's also about hip hop, dog.
Yep.
And I thought it would be, extremely important to have somebody who is a strong representative of hip hop culture on to discuss the culture of hip hop. Now, when I say the culture of hip hop, I don't mean rap music business. I mean the culture in the street, the culture in the hearts and minds of the artists that create the art form, not just music, but all angles of the art form.
Culture is the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you eat, the way you congregate, where you party at, how you party. That's culture. Culture, people be like misusing the word culture, and they think culture is just the actual music. That has nothing. That's a part of the culture, but everything that I named before then is a part of the culture. If I flip my hat a certain way, that's a part of hip hop culture because that's what people might be doing at the time. You have hip hop culture and then you also have fads. Some people confuse the two also. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I love hip hop. I was raised in hip hop. I'm a baby of hip hop. It just started when I was a baby. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that I grew up in. I watched it evolve from something that was just something that we were doing to rebel to now being a $1 billion industry that we're getting a less take on the whole pie of it all, which is kind of crazy, how we created it, but they take it and keep all the money and then, give us what they think we should have out of something that's our creation. But just, that's the story of our life as being, since we were kidnapped and brought here. They've been doing that forever. So,
Yeah. Now, let's go back to the 90s, because for the present time, the 90s is called the golden era. The 90s, for most people, is the pinnacle of hip hop, right? So can we talk about, what was going on in your life in the 90s, that underground struggle, right? And the difference between how we dealt with the hip hop culture and how we dealt with rap music business in the 90s.
Well, in the 90s, the biggest, one of the main differences between 90s and now is hip hop had a scene, whereas 2017, it's hookah lounges, it's strip clubs, it's lounges. There is no dance floor. There is no place where you could go and congregate just to talk about rap and meet up and just build or just freestyle. In the 90s, there were all these places. There were no hookah lounges. There were no places where you went where you had a certain dress code where you couldn't get in, because if you had a dress code, that's not hip hop. Hip hop is no dress code. If somebody want to go in there with shoes on, that's hip hop. You know what I'm saying? If somebody want to go in there with their boots, that's hip hop. Somebody want to go in there with sneakers, that's hip hop. A fitted cap, a fedora, no matter what you went in, hip hop was how you represented yourself that day, because it was the guy in the suit that might have took the blazer off and did a windmill on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Or did a mean, wicked head spin. If you watch shows like Soul Train, they had breakers on there and they had on fucking costumes. So what they tried to do with hip hop now in 2017 is dictate what's hip hop and what's acceptable for hip hop. Whereas in the 90s, it was certain things we didn't accept. But as far as like the scene was different. Right now, if I wanted to go hear some good rap, I knew that it was going to be a good mix show coming on. Either Friday or Saturday on BLS or Kiss was going to play, you know, some good hip hop. I know if I wanted to go out tonight, I had to see what spot was jumping. There was various spots, but each spot had a designated night for good hip hop, whether it be the Muse, whether it be Home Base, whether it be Speed, whether it be Sticky Mics, whether it be the Arena, whether it be even places like Nell's, who's supposed to be bougie and shit. They would have a hip hop night, you know. So that's the difference now. When you want to go out, and I say, yo, man, I just want to go out and vibe and be in that element. I have nowhere to go. I gotta go be around, you know, boozy niggas smoking hookah and boozy motherfuckers, chicks in the strip club. And when you go into those atmospheres, that changes the demographic of what type of hip hop is being played and what type of hip hop the scene is, because you're not gonna go in a strip club and they're playing, you know, the Scenario by Tribe Called Quest featuring Leaders in the New School while strippers are dancing. So that's why the Southern music sound invaded New York City, because that's the only place that dudes get to go to congregate. Now, within congregating in this scene, you want to make the music that everybody is dancing to. You want to make the music that the strippers are coming out to. So then you start moving your sound. You start moving your sound more towards what's the norm based on where you get to party and congregate at. So if it's a strip club, you're going to do as, you know, it's like when in Rome, do as the Romans. When you're in a strip club, do as the strippers is doing, do as the ballers are doing. So now that's why New York music changed, because everybody's trying to create what the sound is according to where you get the party. And when you go in a strip club, it's as is. You could go in there with your boots. You could go in there with your hats. You could go in there with a hoodie on. It's as is. So now you don't feel like you're limited to your dress code. So you just want to go out. You might have on a dope outfit and you like, yo, man, I just want to go hang. I don't want to go get bottom. I don't want to go get hard bottomed up. I don't want to go get blazed up. You know what I'm saying? Or suit and tie up or button up. I just want to wear this fly ass t-shirt I got with the snapback. The strip club is gonna accept you. But now you also have to go in there and accept that scene, which is more of a Southern scene based upon the music, the sound, the dancers, and the whole culture of that. So that is when it invaded the music. So hip hop in the 90s was most of the time go as is any and everywhere, opposed to 2017 now is go as is only in the strip club. But now you have to be ready to take on that sound and that culture. You know, niggas is eating chicken while motherfucking pussy juice is going all around the club and shit like that. Chicks is dancing butt naked while you're eating chicken and eating steak, you know, and that's just weird. We just don't do certain shit in New York. But in order to have a scene that's close to hip hop, as far as the culture of dress, you go to the strip club. So that's one of the main. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
To that point, to that point, you know, I've been saying forever. I've been on your show a few times when we talk about what happened to hip hop. And people ask me, like, what's your date when real hip hop kind of got pushed to the back, right? And I say 1998. I say Puffy Mace, not because, you know, Mace wasn't spitting lyrics or, you know, it wasn't official hip hop. That's not what it was. It was the marketing and the packaging around it was so right and exact that if, you know, you're coming up, if your marketing doesn't meet that level, it's going to be hard to compete in the game. Fast forward 2017, I read an article. I think it was one of the hip hop weeklies. I forget which one. But Manny Fresh got interviewed, and Manny Fresh feels that Cash Money destroyed hip hop culture. And he says this, that he was a part of a movement that basically destroyed hip hop culture. So when you look at it now, he's saying that everything sounds alike, everybody looks alike, everybody kind of tries to mimic the same formula for success, which for him was Cash Money. the bling bling, the materialism, the sex, the strip club, the naked girls, all that. He feels that they bought into play because they was just being themselves, but that kind of became the standard. And he feels sorry that he was a part of the degradation of hip hop. What do you think?
Well, I say yes and no for Manny Fresh. He's a little right, but he's a little wrong at the same time because, you know, materialism and hip hop go hand in hand. You know, motherfuckers was rhyming about Lincoln Continentals and shit in the first, you know, hip hop song.
Cadillac.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? After school, I take a dip in my pool. You know what I'm saying? Which was really on the wall. He was full of shit. He was lying. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't even his rhyme. Big Bang Hank and Rappers Delight and the shit. That wasn't even his rhyme. So he had a GOAT. Yeah, it was GOAT Grandmaster Cass. So he had a ghostwriter since the inception of hip hop. You know, so I think they told it from their story. The difference was when Rappers Delight and all of the groups came out in the 90s, there was balance. If I wanted to hear bragging and boasting rock, because it was called bragging and boasting, I can listen to that. If I wanted to hear gangster rap, I can listen to that type of gangster rap. And I don't mean the NWA gangster rap. I mean the Schoolie D gangster rap. I mean the Just Ice gangster rap. The first early Criminal Minded album gangster rap, where it was gangster, but it still had some sort of message. This wasn't just I shot a nigga in his face and his girl, you know, I pissed in his girl. It wasn't like almost rated R gangster rap, you know, because when Slick Rick said, with your wrinkled pussy, I can't be a lover, I remember getting in trouble for playing, you know, Lottie Dottie. When he said that one line, it was like, turn that shit off. You know what I'm saying? Then they started making whole songs where it was just that. So the deal is, it was the balance. When the Cash Money era hit, and when the puffy shiny suit era hit, there was no more balance. It was either you getting money or you're a fucking bum. If you're not getting money, and then like Hakim said, what happened was it was the marketing dollars being spent to push this message, because it was also a part of funding the agenda that was to take place, to have everybody zombie like how they are in these days and times. It was the ushering of the new drugs, the new phases, the new sexuality, the new things, and making everything that was abnormal and wasn't normal, make that shit normal because it was being marketed. For example, if you look at now, I have a very large following. I have a podcast. Y'all have a podcast, you know, but you have other podcasters out there that seem like we don't exist because they have marketing dollars behind them. They have all this money behind them. And it's not that they're better. It's just that they have a budget and they have networks and they have sponsors that's paying money to keep, you know, as I might have a Hakim Green on my podcast and we're building and we're talking about shit. They don't want that in their networks, because the worst thing you can do is educate the youth. The worst thing you can do is have people think. They want zombies. They want walkers. They want useless eaters walking around. So then when they kill everybody, or when the police start shooting dudes down in the street, or when dudes kill each other, it's like, see, they were animals. You know what I'm saying? They didn't give a fuck anyway. But it's all a part of the agenda to keep everybody dumb, deaf, and blind. So when they handle you a certain way, they can say, well, they was a piece of shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? Look how he carried himself. So it's the same thing with rap. So that's why you're going to hear Molly, Percocet, Molly, because in our time coming up in music, and I'm in everything, even if, see, because we could talk about hip hop culture, but we can also talk about the scene of music, period. Back in the days, in the 80s, 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even in the early to mid 90s, dudes was trying to get pussy. You know what I'm saying? So they were singing, I love you, you the greatest, you know, break up the makeup, you know, you my favorite girl, you know, various songs, you know, you could have a piece of my love, you know what I'm saying? To these hoes ain't loyal, you know what I'm saying? Don't trust no bitches. So even that transferred, everything transferred for being, you know, love, peace, happiness. And even when we did have little issues and beef, it was talked about, and then it was still a balance. Now, even in R&B, that genre is no balance. Everything is eat my ass. You know what I'm saying? Eat these booties like groceries. All that shit is just all the way one way. So everything is off kilter. Reggae, they just killed the whole genre of reggae, because reggae started from being uplifting and message oriented to now they took it, they killed the whole genre because they was telling people to get up, stand up, fight for your rights. You know, giving them education, educating people about how we can help you and being spiritual in different walks of life and shit like that. So they killed entertainment period to make it to fit the agenda. And that's what's happening. That's where we at. That's why everything is so one-sided. I don't care what you go to. Television, one-sided. Radio, one-sided. The podcast world, one-sided. The blogs, one-sided. Hip-hop, one-sided. Everything is all the way over here. And if you're over here doing something, they're going to box you out. They're going to push things forward in the forefront to try to make sure what you're doing is not relevant. But I find it funny because the people are wisening up. The people are more smarter than what the fucking corporations give them credit for, because I find it like, damn, how am I doing 300,000 views, 400,000 views, 600,000 views on videos, and I'm competing with billion-dollar corporations, and I'm funded by myself. You know what I'm saying? So I like to give the people credit, because the people are not dumb, and the people are getting tired, and the people are, it's a consciousness awakening the people where they want what they want, and they're going to get tired of getting fed fucking spam and macaroni every day. You know what I'm saying? They're getting tired of getting that jail bologna and cheese, you know? So that's what I feel.